regret buying your dream car young? And I thought this video was very interesting. I was just gonna watch this video myself, but I also one of my dream cars is a Corvette, and I do hope to get it very soon. You know, not like next couple of months or anything, but I do hope to be younger, not 65 by the time I'm driving my dream car. So I want to watch this video because I don't know. I don't think I regret it. Why would I regret
If you guys are aware that I recently picked up a Corvette C706,
So
my
beautiful,
actual
man.
dream car.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not just saying that because I own the car, but if you've actually watched me for a while, you would know that this is my actual legit dream car.
I think I'm at the point where I can confidently say that I wouldn't take any other car on this planet over a C706. That's just me though.
And yeah, as I'm speaking to you, it's in my garage right now. But as someone who's relatively young, there's a couple things I started to realize as soon as I got this car. There's a lot of misconceptions to getting a car like this, especially at a young age. So for the young people who clicked on this video, even the people who aren't so young and are still looking to get their dream car pretty soon, I thought I'd make this video so you guys can understand it's not always gonna be what you thought or what you had in mind. Now, obviously the good outweighs the bad. I do not regret purchasing this car one bit. But again, even though this car
everything, because the mental want of something is always going to be so strong. The pull towards it is going to motivate you, is going to, the attraction to something. It's like a game of catch. You have the most fun when you're chasing people and whatever. And then you catch, sorry, I hit the mic. And then you catch them and then you're like, yeah, we won, woo, whatever. That's when you have a lot of fun. And then when you're like kind of stressing and this and that, whatever, is when you're running away. You're trying to escape. You're trying not to get caught. You're trying not to get fucked over. So I think that's kind of the same thing. Is like the chase is always more fun than the actual reward. Once you get the reward, then you have to keep running. You have to, and then the chase is on in a different way. You're the one being chased, and you don't have a lot of fun. I think that might be kind of part of it.
Car has brought me so much joy in the few weeks I've owned it. There's still certain things you should look out for if you plan on going this route. Getting your dream car at a young age, and not a lot of people.
Such a beautiful fucking car though, like such a beautiful car. Let me just go back here.
This car has brought.
God damn, holy shit, man.
Brought me so much joy in the few weeks I've owned it. There's still certain things you.
Damn, look at that fucking car, man. Oh my god, that's such a clean car. Oh.
Should look out for if you plan on going this route. Getting your dream car at a young age, and not a lot of people are actually transparent about it, so might as well be that person, right? There's gonna be 5 things on this list, which each being more slightly inconvenient than the last, but enough with the talking. Let's just begin with the 5 harsh truths about getting your dream car. Number 5, the attention. Yes, a bright yellow sports car is the last thing you should get if you don't want attention. I understand, but attention is a double-edged sword, and I'm sure you can understand why that is. Yeah, ever since I got this car, I've gotten lots and lots of positive attention. Yeah. I mean, every time I go to the gas station, I spark a conversation with a random person telling me how much they...
I gotta say, I do have one of my dream cars, but it's not a dream car. Like, it's not a multi-$1,000 $1,000,000 car or whatever. The car I currently have is one of my dream cars. It's a Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. As you could imagine, it gets a lot of fucking attention. A lot of attention. So I can get this point. I know what he's talking about.
They like the car. The other day, some guy walked up to me at Subway and gave me free merch. Not sure if he assumed I was a
that hasn't happened to me, but maybe it will. Maybe it will someday.
Sort of celebrity because he saw the car, but he literally walked up to me and gave me his merch, free clothes. People let me merge before them way more often. Every time I drive past a group of kids and like families, they're like, rev it. And when I do, it makes their day. Yeah, there's definitely more positive attention when you get a car like this compared to the negative. But but the negative
The
attention
cops.
you get will be more than you ever did. Ever since I got this car, especially as someone who's young, I've noticed a lot of envy with random people and people I'm even close with.
Well,
I had a
that's
woman
true,
come up to me the other day after I parked far away in the parking lot, and mind you, I just did this because it was a busy parking lot. I did it so it'd be easier to pull out when I'm done shopping. I don't care about parking far away so I can avoid scratches and dings. I'm not that person. But back to the story. I
Right,
parked far away from every car, and as I'm getting out, some middle-aged overweight lady pulls up in her Sienna and is like, "You're parking all the way over here like the car is even nice." And then she's like, "You're lucky I'm in a hurry because I would have made sure to key your car." What? I awkwardly laughed at it. Some middle-aged
I bet you she looked like this too.
overweight lady pulls up in her Sienna and is
Like what the? Oh, your car not even nice, bitch. You drive an Astro van. Shut up.
like, "You're parking all the way over here like the car is even nice." And then she's like,
the car's even nice. It's a Corvette Stingray.
"You're lucky I'm in a
That's
hurry
nice.
because I would have made sure to key your car." What? I awkwardly laughed at it because I thought she was joking at the moment. But even just minding your business and not affecting anyone will bring negative attention to you. And as absurd that
So
story
stupid.
is, it's not even the tip of the iceberg. I personally haven't gotten in any trouble with the cops, but you can tell having
Oh.
a car like that won't make it any easier. People are more
Yes.
likely to be douchebags to you, insult you, cut you off, flip you off. Yeah, all this has happened to me simply because of the car I drive. So if you're one to get
I've gotten flipped off too. I've never gotten cut off because people are very scared of me, but I've gotten flipped off. I've sparked random conversations. I guess people have been a little bit salty sometimes here and there. They'll make some kind of quip, but nobody's really gone to the extent that people have gone for his car, obviously.
angry
That's
easily and
crazy,
have little
man.
self-control, this is something to look out for because there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be a lot of instances where you're going to be done dirty. Me personally, this doesn't bother me. I go on
If
with
you have road rage, don't get a nice car because you will probably try to kill somebody.
my day as usual because I know all they want is a reaction from me. And if you
Yeah.
give that reaction to them, only God knows what would happen next. So I just tend to ignore these people.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is number 5 because it's a double-edged sword.
That's when
But
they go full sicko mode. That's when you really see their power level. You have to break your scale because it's so strong.
trust me when I say this, you're gonna get significantly more positive attention than the negative ones. But the negative ones are bound to happen. But next we have a problem that isn't exactly double-edged. And that is you kind of wouldn't drive the car the way you thought you would. Now let me explain. Before I got the car, I was the type of guy that many of you watching this are right now. The people who think their life is gonna drastically change. Man, I'm gonna be flooring it every chance I get. I'm gonna put a Kong blower on the car. I'm gonna make a 2,000 horsepower. I'm gonna be flooring it at every light. Yeah,
But you
it's
drive it
much
like a
easier to
grandma?
say stuff than actually do stuff when you have the car. But let me further elaborate because this isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's even why I have it at 4.
let me
But
see.
before I had the car, every time I drove in a different car like the whole Honda, whenever I go down a back road, a highway, I start thinking to myself, man, when I get my Z06, I'm gonna be driving it like Max Verstappen down this road. Man, I'm gonna be hitting 160 with this much room in front of me. You wanna know a crazy fact? After
straight
the
up.
first week of owning my car, I would say about the second week of owning the car, I stopped driving it like a race car. Yeah, that first week was the week I got 6 miles per gallon. But now I could get 13 in the city and about 25 in the highway, so it's not that bad. But yeah, I stopped flooring it and going fast because it's just not as amusing as everyone thinks it is before they get the car.
Yes,
I mean,
it is. It's so fun. You just have to have the right car. My car is so fun to floor. Oh my god, I love flooring it in my car. It's so fun. I love driving my car. I love looking at my car. Every time I remember what car is in the driveway, oh my god, I love it. I don't know. I don't think that would happen with me at all. And I've always said if I got my dream car, I would beat the shit out of it. I wouldn't just throw it in a garage and whatever. Like, I would beat the shit out of it. Because I want to drive the car, right? I'm going to drive it into the ground. You know, I might get 2. Like, I might get 1 to drive. You know, I'll drive that for a long time, save a bunch of money, then I'll buy another one for collection. Like, but no, I'm going to drive a car. That's what they're meant for. Duh.
no matter how good anything is, we're going to get used to it eventually, right? Don't get me wrong at all. Every time I do it, it still puts a fat smile on my face. But I'm just not as incentivized to do it anymore, you know? I tend to just drive the car normally now, unless like I'm on a cruise with a buddy of mine, recording a video, or just rare occasions. But when I'm by myself, I rarely drive the car different than I'll drive my Honda Accord. I just cruise, listen to music, and just relax. When you get your dream car, you're going to realize you're not going to drive the car the way you had it in mind prior to getting it. But I think this one is most mostly because of
That's
the
part of
fact
the
that I
chase,
daily
though.
the car.
It's
And
the
yeah, I had some
wants.
of you in my comments tell me not to daily my dream car because I'll eventually get tired of it. And in these few weeks or about a month that I've owned the car, I can kind of see where you guys are coming from. I'm not tired of it yet, but
You
I
gotta
can
listen
only
to him
imagine like
sometimes.
6 months or a year from now, after I've
Just
accelerated a
sometimes.
million times, how I'd feel. Would I still feel the same way now? Not sure. I doubt it. But I did take that comment into consideration, and I plan on getting a cheaper, more reliable daily soon. Also, I can still get that
Smart.
fresh feeling every time I hop in the Z06. Speaking of feelings, the third thing you should know about getting your dream car is that you're a human being. And we as humans have this feeling that makes us to want more. Like you're never
Right.
going to be satisfied. I'm
Yep.
sure this can be a me thing only, and it's not necessarily a bad trait to have at all. There's
No,
nothing
it's
wrong
not.
with wanting more and more for
You need to
yourself.
control
But
it,
when you
though.
finally get that car, you're going to enjoy it for sure. But
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you're gonna have those thoughts that fly into your head at random times. Those thoughts about what's next. I already got what I was working for, so what do I work for next? Maybe this is just a me problem, but I assume it's not. For people who get their dream car at a
Yeah.
young age, I'm sure they all have the same.
Well, eventually, I mean, I guess eventually you get to that point no matter what, but you always need, there's always something else to do. There's always something else to like pursue. You know, Elon Musk, he's making millions and billions of dollars off Tesla. Okay, that's cool. Well, let's start SpaceX. You know, SpaceX is cool and all, but why are we launching rockets for no reason? Oh yeah, let's throw satellites on there. Why do we have satellites? Oh yeah, let's have a Wi-Fi company. You know, an ISP. Let's have our own ISP. And then we own Twitter. We own like. There's always something to go after. You just kind of have to know, or at least be pushed in that direction. But I do get what he's saying. It's like it's very hard. It's like, well, I have what I wanted. Now what do I go for next? I don't want anything else, so I'll just sit here and drive a car. But I get it, but I don't know. I think there's always ways to keep going.
Same mentality,
there always is.
that what's next mentality. The car was
Yeah.
the goal, and the goal is what strives you to work hard. Once you accomplish that goal,
Again,
you don't
the
just want to
chase.
relax and actually start slacking off. You're quick to think about another goal so you can work towards that as well. Whether that's
Yep.
modding the shit out of the car or just getting a much better car down the line. What I'm trying to say is, if you're anything like me, once that time comes and you actually get the car, don't think that all your problems are just gonna magically vanish and you can actually die in peace, because realistically the journey is just starting. Who knows, a year
Yep.
from now I could pop out in a 720S with this mindset. So again,
That's
it's not
true.
necessarily
That's
a bad
true.
thing if you got your dream car and it didn't satisfy that feeling, because really it's the journey that gives you pleasure at the end of the day. But that
Right.
does bring me to my question for you guys. It's basic, but I actually want to know, what is your attainable dream car and what is your all-time dream car? It could both be the same thing. I mean, mine was, and here I am. And while you're down
Yeah.
there, be sure to like and
It
subscribe so I
is
can
the
get
same
recommended
thing
to more.
because these cars, although these are very expensive
Was,
cars,
and here I am. I want to know,
Yeah.
what is your attainable dream car and what is your all-time dream?
these are very expensive cars, but you know, in comparison to a Lamborghini, this is very affordable. In comparison to a Bugatti, this is extremely affordable. In comparison to Koenigsegg's, these are extremely affordable. Or Porsches, these are, well, some Porsches are roughly the same price, but most Porsches are quite a lot more than a Corvette Stingray, especially the C5s. So, yeah, I mean, these are affordable. These are really nice cars. A lot of people really fucking like these cars. I love these cars. Yeah,
Dream
I mean,
car. It could both be the same thing.
Yeah,
I
same
mean, mine
thing.
was, and here I am. And while you're down
Again,
there,
my
be
ha-
sure to like and
this
subscribe.
the same thing with me too. Again, my car that I currently have is literally the same thing. It's super affordable, it's super obtainable, and it's my dream car. It's a Crown Vic. You know, why wouldn't you love a Crown Vic? They're fucking amazing.
So I could get recommended to more people, so I could pay for my gas. And two, we have
Yeah.
one that I'm sure many of you expected, and that is stress.
I think
Now,
it's
I'm
a
not saying
V8.
go buy a car that you can't afford. No, do not
Maybe a
ever get a
V10,
car that you can't comfortably
no,
afford.
V10.
I'm not talking about the
Well-
stress of not knowing when to pay the car, because that's on you. I mean the
forget.
stress of knowing you're in that car finally. All of a sudden, you gotta be more careful with everything. You gotta worry about
Mhm.
actually owning an expensive car. Like, out of nowhere, you have this huge piece of food on your plate, and you never know when anything is gonna go wrong. Again, all this can be good, but
That's
there's
scary.
always going to be a negative to this sort of thing, no matter
That's
how you
one
put
thing
it.
I would always be terrified of if I had a dream. Like, even now, you know, I'm terrified of crashing. Every time I do something in my car, I'm always like double checking, triple checking. Like, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get smoked. It's my dream car. I love it. It's my baby. I have a name for it. I call her Black Betty. I don't want to hurt her. Why do I want to do that?
I can comfortably afford the car, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly more stressed ever since I got this car. And the craziest part is I genuinely can't pinpoint where the stress is coming from. I kind of think it's more the fact that this is my first ever big purchase that I've ever made. So maybe it's that, but I can't really tell, honestly. Like, every time I sit down and think, why am I even stressed? I realize there's no reason to be, and I just go back to being normal. I don't know, it's weird, but these are just things you should expect.
I mean, I think the stress is you're able to comfortably afford a super amazing car. If you crash it, you could probably replace it. You know, like all these different things. You don't really have to stress, but you don't want to crash it. I think that's another thing is it's the same thing with not having the car is you haven't done it yet. You haven't driven that car yet. So you're, you know, it's like the nerves in a good way. The nerves make you more more excited to be in the car, you know, more ready to drive that car, more anxious to drive it. Again, in a good way. And then when you have the car, it's the same kind of thing. You're like, oh god, I don't want to crash it. Oh god, I don't want to crash it. Oh god, I don't want to crash it. But once you drive the car for a long time, you're like, okay, whatever. Once you crash the car, you know, once you crash any kind of car, especially if you're really in love with it, once you're like, fuck, and then you crash it more, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll fix it, get a fender, go to the junkyard, do this. Whatever, you know. You either fix it or you scrap it. He also, I guarantee you, if I were to, you know, talk to this guy, or if anybody were to talk to this guy, he probably hasn't, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take a guess, he's never written off, like, he's never totaled a car. He's never written off a car because it was totaled after an accident or anything. I'm just gonna take a guess and say that.
Just how big of a change and responsibility owning a car like this is. It's just like, let's say, I don't know, switching schools, for instance. You know everything is going to be okay at the end, but the thought of the unknown kind of stresses you out. Like, you get those tiny thoughts. Did I make the right choice? Should I have gotten something else? You know? It's just those little intrusive negative thoughts that cross your mind from time to time. And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. But it's just the late night thoughts. When you wake up in the bed and see the car in your driveway, all that is gonna be gone, trust me. Don't even get me started on when you sit inside the car. But all that aside, the number one thing I feel like you must know before getting your dream car is that the way you felt before having the car is gonna be the same way you feel after you get the car. You're gonna be the same person, but now with your dream car. Sure, when you're driving the car, you're gonna feel surreal, but as soon as you park it back at your house, you're gonna be back to being the same person you were 3 months ago. At the end of the day, it's just a material possession, and it won't change the person you are. That being said, live in the moment. I genuinely made this video because I know 95% of you guys watching this were just like me a few months ago, working hard to get their dream car. But I'm gonna leave it on this note: getting your dream car is worth it. This is just a video to show things that you must know before you pull the trigger. But when I drop the positive things, you guys will for sure want to work hard towards your dream car. When I tell you these negatives compared to the positives are nothing, I mean they are nothing. Keep working hard, because the feeling of accomplishing something that you grinded so hard for is worth it. Take it easy, my friends, and see y'all next time.
Oh, yeah, we'll just show on this channel. So again, like, I think he's right with, you know, it's not what you expect. It's not going to change your whole world. It's not going to radically change things. You know, you're not going to become Andrew Tate smoking cigars, sitting on yachts and doing this and doing that when you can drop money on these kinds of cars. And you don't drive it how you think you're going to drive it, especially after a prolonged period of time of owning the car. However, I do think that's also kind of false, because if you have a really, really, really fun car that you're super obsessed with, you love this car, you've loved it for a long time, you're always going to get giddy, you're always going to want to drive it around, you're going to love driving it, and you're going to enjoy driving it. So it's a little bit of a give and a take. It's, you know, yeah, I kind of don't like it all the time, and I don't love driving it because I shit my pants sometimes, but I also love fucking driving it because it's an amazing car, it's a beautiful car, I've loved this car for so long. Whatever. So yeah, I think it really is a give and a take with stuff like this. And obviously, you know, if you have the chance to buy a supercar, you're incredibly blessed no matter what. You really shouldn't be stressed about most things. You don't need to worry a whole lot, right? So yeah, I mean, it was a really good video though. This guy